everyone, and welcome back to Moonlit Destinies. So, tomorrow, as we all know, on 12th August 2026, the sky is going to witness one of the most spectacular astronomical events of the year, a total solar eclipse. So, what is solar eclipse? Solar eclipse occurs when the moon moves between the earth and the sun, and it temporarily blocks the sun's light. So, astronomically, this is a completely natural event, but astrologically, eclipses have traditionally been considered, periods of change, letting go of what is not serving you, endings, beginnings, and redirection. Okay, complete redirection to your life, completely change of your life. Why this eclipse is special is because it is occurring in Leo, the sign which is associated with confidence, creativity, identity, leadership, and other factors. So, today we are going to look at what this eclipse could symbolically represent for all 12 zodiac signs, what areas of life may receive attention, what opportunities could emerge, and how can you navigate this energy. Okay, so yeah, let's get started now. What makes this eclipse special? See, the solar eclipse essentially occurs around a new moon, so this is very special because astrologically it combines the symbolism of a new moon with the more disruptive or transformative symbolism which is associated with eclipse. So this eclipse, you are going to feel a new version of yourself that wants to emerge out of have these questions in your mind: who am I, what do I genuinely want, where am I hiding my talents, am I living for myself or only for other people's approval? This can therefore be a powerful symbolic period in everybody's life. So let's see how this translates for each zodiac sign. Starting with Aries. See, for Aries, this eclipse can highlight creativity, romance, self expression, children, and personal passions. You may suddenly feel the desire to do something that makes you feel more alive. A creative project, romantic connection, or personal passion could become more important for you guys. And for some Aries individual, this could also be about stepping out of the role of being constantly responsible for everyone else, and asking, what do I actually enjoy? So the positive side of this eclipse is the opportunity to rediscover your confidence and your creativity all together. And I would like one advice for you: don't be afraid to express yourself, but avoid impulsive romantic or financial decisions. Okay, so the impact or effect of solar eclipse is going to last for about 6 months or so. It eventually starts to fade after couple of days, 15 days or so, but then it lasts for about 6 months. So you are going to see these changes in starting from tomorrow to at least for 6 months roaming around in your life. Moving forward to Taurus. See, for Taurus, the eclipse can bring attention towards home, your family, your emotional security, your personal foundations. You may feel motivated to change your living environment completely, reorganize your home, or resolve an old family issue. Sometimes transformation does not mean physically moving, it can simply mean changing what home and emotional security mean to you. So this is a very excellent period for you guys. You have to create a more peaceful and supportive personal environment within you, for for yourself. And a beautiful advice for you: don't cling to something simply because it is familiar. Sometimes creating stability requires allowing an old pattern to change. Okay, moving forward towards Gemini. Gemini may experience this eclipse through themes of communication, learning, writing, networking, and immediate surroundings. You could become more visible through your ideas, your communication, and this may be a good symbolic period for starting a course, developing content, writing, teaching, or expanding your social network for that matter. You may also realize that your words carry more influence than you previously recognized. One advice for you guys: think before you speak. Okay, the eclipse may encourage you to communicate boldly and in front of everybody very actively, but confidence should not become your arrogance at all. Cancerians, this eclipse can bring attention toward money, your income, your possessions, your self-worth. You may begin questioning your relationship with financial security. You will think a lot: am I earning enough? Am I undervaluing myself? Am I spending money according to my actual priorities or not? So this could therefore be a useful period for restructuring your financial goals, but the deeper lesson may be about self-worth rather than money itself. A beautiful advice for you guys: invest in your skills and long-term security rather than making emotionally driven purchases. Moving forward towards Leo, see, this is the sign that is directly connected with the eclipse. So this can be a major symbolic period of personal reinvention for you guys. Your identity, your appearance, your confidence, goals, and the way you present yourself overall to the world may come under this spotlight. You may feel ready to leave behind an old version of yourself, and for some of you this could mean a new professional direction. For others, a change in relationship, lifestyle, or personal priorities can definitely be seen. And the important question you are going to ask this period is, who am I becoming? So this eclipse can represent a symbolic reset of your personal identity. One beautiful advice for you: don't chase validation from anybody. Okay, build a version of yourself that feels authentic even when nobody is watching. Moving forward towards Virgo, the eclipse may emphasize rest, solitude, subconscious patterns, and closure. This does not necessarily mean something negative. Sometimes transformation begins quietly. You may realize that a habit, relationship pattern, or emotional attachment to anybody has reached its natural conclusion for you guys. And this can be an excellent symbolic period for self-reflection, for journaling, for meditation, and taking a step back from unnecessary noise. A beautiful advice for you: don't force every situation to continue. Some things need to end quietly so that something healthier can begin for you guys. Moving forward towards Libra. So for Libra, the eclipse can activate themes of friendships, communities, networking, and future goals. Your social circle may evolve. You may meet people who introduce you to completely new possibilities, and at the same time you may realize that certain friendships no longer align with the person you are becoming. So this is particularly interesting for people building businesses, online communities, or creative projects. One beautiful advice for you: choose your network carefully. The people around you can strongly influence the direction of your future. Moving forward towards Scorpio. So for Scorpions, this eclipse may highlight career, reputation, leadership, and public visibility. You may feel a stronger desire to be recognized for your abilities. A beautiful career opportunity, leadership responsibility, or professional transformation could become important in this period. But this is not only about getting a promotion. It is about asking, or do I want to be known for? You may begin moving toward a professional identity that feels more authentic. And a beautiful advice for you guys: take responsibility for your ambitions. Now is the right time. Take responsibility for your ambitions, but don't sacrifice your personal life simply to prove your worth. Moving forward towards Sagittarians. Sagittarians may experience this eclipse through themes of travel, higher education, philosophy, spirituality, and expansion. You may feel an urge to explore something beyond your current environment. This could be physical travel, but it could also be intellectual or spiritual exploration. You may encounter an idea, teacher, or experience that changes the way you see the world. One beautiful advice for you guys: stay curious, but don't accept every belief simply because it sounds inspiring. Explore, caution, and develop your own understanding. Okay, be naive. This is a beautiful period. Moving forward towards Capricorn. So, for Capricorns, this eclipse can bring attention to shared finances, intimacy, emotional vulnerability, and transformation. You may need to reconsider how you share resources, trust others, or deal with emotional attachments. You need to think on all of these areas. This can be a powerful period for releasing unhealthy patterns and releasing whatever is not serving you, releasing whatever is, not benefiting you around control. Transformation can sometimes feel uncomfortable because it requires us to confront things we would rather avoid. Okay. A beautiful advice for you guys: don't try to control every outcome. Some of the biggest transformations happen when we learn to trust the process. Moving forward towards Aquarians, for Aquarius, the relationships can become the central theme, during this eclipse. The eclipse may symbolically highlight partnerships, marriage, close relationships, and one-to-one connections with, different individuals. Some relationships may deepen for you, others may require honest conversation and your time, your efforts. And in some cases you may realize that your relationship dynamics needs to change. So the lesson is not necessarily about gaining or losing someone, it is about creating relationships that allow both people to grow. Beautiful advice for you guys: don't ignore red flags, but don't make permanent decisions based solely on temporary emotions either. Communicate first. Okay, so we have reached our last sign, which is Pisces. So for Pisces, this eclipse may highlight work, healthy routines, responsibilities, and everyday habits. You may realize that your current lifestyle is not sustainable, and perhaps you are working too much, resting too little, or following routines that don't support your long-term goals. So this can be a great symbolic opportunity to redesign your daily life. And big transformation often begin with very small habits, so you have to remember that. One beautiful advice for you guys: focus on consistency rather than perfection. Create routines that support your physical and emotional well-being. So that's that we have covered each of the 12 zodiac signs. Now, how should you deal with the solar eclipse? So regardless of your zodiac sign, there are a few sensible ways to approach this period. First is, don't panic. Okay, this solar eclipse is not inherently a bad event. It is simply the alignment of sun, moon, and earth. And it's a beautiful period. Avoid making major decisions purely from fear or excitement. If something suddenly feels urgent, give yourself time to think, reflect on what needs to change. Okay, ask yourself, what am I holding on to that no longer represents me? Where am I seeking validation from others? What part of my life needs a fresh beginning? Because see, eclipses are time for introspection, for self-reflection, to give time to yourself, to understand yourself, to analyze what needs to change. So finally, use this eclipse as a reflection point rather than a prediction of fate. Okay, so yeah, we have reached the end of this video. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share Moonlit Destinies. And don't forget to tell me in the comments which zodiac sign are you and what transformation are you hoping to see in your life. You never know, maybe this is your manifesting stage. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep looking at the stars but never stop questioning them. Thank you.